back to Wheels of Interest. So we have a new project that I'm going to be featuring on our channel, and it's a bit of an unusual one, bit of a rare machine I'm sitting on right now, and you won't see one of these very often. It is a industrial tow tractor, and it was built by the company that I worked for 32 years of my working career, namely Lansing Bagnall. And Lansing Bagnall was a very prolific forklift truck manufacturer and materials handling manufacturer from the 1940s right through until 1990, when Linde Material Handling bought the business and renamed it Lansing Linde, and then Linde Material Handling as it is now. So the company is still going. Their headquarters were in Basingstoke and in the UK, and the head office is still there. So the Linde head office is still in Basingstoke, and the factory is long gone now in terms of manufacturing facilities. So the factory was at Basingstoke where the head office is, but that manufacturing has ceased about 7, 8, 9 years ago, something like that, and everything went across to Europe. So this machine that we have here is an industrial tow tractor, and it is a Model A, a Lansing Bagnall Model A tow tractor, and its correct designation is an Ep1, and that stands for Model A, Perkins, 4-cylinder, twin wheel. So it has a 4-cylinder Perkins diesel as the power unit, and it has got twin rear wheels, so like tandem wheels. And as I said, it's a bit of a rare beast. You won't see many of these around. Very few turn up at shows or anything like that. And I'm not entirely sure how many there are left in the world. They are made of heavy iron, so therefore scrap value is quite high because they're heavy. They're not made of tin, that's for sure. The only thing that's tin is the cab, which, as you'll see in a minute, is quite rotten. But you can use this perfectly well without a cab. And it was built in 1953. And because I work for the company, I managed to get hold of the build sheet for this machine and the original bill of sale. And it was originally supplied to Anglo-Iranian Oil in 1953, who were then located on the Isle of Grain in Essex, in the UK. And Anglo-Iranian Oil became British Petroleum, BP. From there, I believe it stayed in Essex, and I believe that it went to the Ford tractor plant in Brentwood, because it's ended up being painted blue, which is Ford colour, and it's also got a big massive Ford sticker on the back of the cab. And Isle of Grain being in Essex, the Ford tractor plant was in Essex as well. May have been Dagenham too, possibly, so it may have come from Dagenham, Ford plant, but likely to be Brentwood or Dagenham. And from there, the trail goes cold. It turned up at a sale in Bedfordshire about 2 years ago, and I bought it from the guy that bought it from that sale. And I'm chuffed with it because I've wanted one of these for a very long time. It is a quirky little thing. My friend Paul refers to it as the club foot, and when you see a proper shot of it, you'll see why. In fact, I'll put a photograph up of it, because it does look very quirky and very out of proportion. It's tucked away in the corner of a shed at the moment. It's just on the outside edge. You can see the nose. I'm sitting on the step at the front. I can't really get around it to sort of show you a full picture, so as I say, I'll put one up on the screen so you can see what it actually looks like. And the whole idea of this truck is to basically restore it completely to brand new, effectively. So it's going to get a complete strip down at some point in the future. Engine rebuild, gearbox check over and rebuild if necessary, new tyres, new paint job, and hopefully eventually a new cab at some point. So that is the plan. So I'm going to take a walk around and show you what it's got on it, what it looks like, how much space that there isn't in the cab, because it's really tiny to get in, and I'm 6'4", so its legroom is really not there. But how I'm going to drive it is anyone's guess, but I'm not worried because I just think it's a great little quirky machine, and not many other people have got one. So I'll take you a look around it so you can see what we've got, and then I'll show you the plan of what we're planning to do with it in the short term. Right, so starting at the front, we've got a cobbled together tow bar clevis that's been welded on the front of the front slam panel there. We've got some fairly thick, heavy bars to protect the radiator. One of them is broken off. Tin cover, and we've got the Lansing Pegasus. So this was the Lansing emblem, and their catchline, or their slogan, was "Mechanized Muscle." The Pegasus is missing its wings, so I'll put up a little image of what it actually should look like, but it should have a pair of wings at the back here. So yeah, that's quite a rare piece to find, so hopefully I'll find one of those one day. The bonnet is actually not in too bad condition compared to the cab. The cab is in very rough condition, but the bonnet is pretty good. Everything else, apart from the cab, is made of very thick steel. So if you can just see there, as the light sort of picks up on the camera, you can see that we've got some pretty hefty construction. This is about 4mm, 5mm thick steel. And right underneath we've got some seriously heavy chassis rails, a really heavy spring right underneath there for suspension. And this thing, make no mistake, this thing is heavy. Okay, I suspect it probably weighs the best part of 1.5 tons, if not 2 tons. And for good reason, because it's got to have some pretty hefty lugging capability. So I'm struggling to get it in the picture because I've got a tiny little space here, so apologies for that. But you can get the idea of the club foot idea. It is a quirky little thing. It's very out of proportion, but what do you need it for? You've got an engine at the front, you've got a really mahoosive worm drive gearbox transmission final drive at the back, and as I said already, you've got twin tyres on the back end. So this has got some serious grunt to it, some really deep down, low down torque. 4-cylinder diesel, Perkins P4, really reliable power unit. Now it's built in 53, it's now blue, it should be red. So if you look down here, this is the colour it should be. Okay, so it's Lansing Bagnall's colour was poppy red, or post office red, with black wings and such like, black fenders and things like that. Hopefully when I get it running, I'll be able to drive it outside so that I can show you better around it, because in here it's not the best light, and I've got a lot of sunshine outside and not much light inside, so it's the camera's messing around a little bit, but you can sort of get the idea of what she looks like. Front wheels are off it at the moment because both of them are flat, so I'm just getting the punctures repaired. The tyres are not in great shape, but they will do what we need them to do, I'm hoping, just to be able to move it around. The actual kingpins, I don't know if you can see that there, but that is going round as well. But the kingpin, basically, if I just do this, there's a lot of play in the kingpins on the steering. So yes, this machine really has got to have a lot of work done to it, but in the short term it's going to be a repair job. If we take a look inside the cab, you can see that there's not a lot of room. I mean, I've got engine parts here at the minute, which I'll explain in a moment, but there's really not a lot of room in the cab. More or less upright steering wheel, really tricky to get onto pedals, which are down there, but they are adjustable for their height and length. So just see if I can focus in on those. It's not very good. Yeah, so that's going to be difficult. We've got a great big handbrake lever there, little tiny gear stick for the gearbox that it's got. Fuel tank, fuel filler cap is missing, but again, not the end of the world. I can always find something to fit that. Battery box is under the seat for the starter battery, and then we've got one seat for the driver. And on the top there, I've got loads of engine bits because at the moment I've got the cylinder head off it. And the reason the cylinder head is off it is because when I got it, the engine was seized. Now, what I'm going to do in the very short term is I want to get this running. Okay, so what you see and what I'm going to do with this is not something that is going to be left as it is. if you get my meaning. So I'm just going to do enough to get the thing running. So I'm not going to do any engine repair as such, although it does require engine repair. I am just going to put the head back on, having unseized the engine. I've got to hone the bores, a couple of the bores, because there is some rust spots in the bores. I'm just going to take the high spots off of those with a hone. Then I'm going to refit the head, and then I'm going to run some fuel through it and see if she starts. Now I've already had it running on the starter motor, so I know the engine is good from that point of view, and I've also got oil pressure because it's chucked oil all over the floor through the oil pipe that I disconnected. So I know I've got oil pressure, I know that the starter motor works. I've got to check out the diesel pump, but for the short term, I'm just going to refit the head, hone the bores with the pistons in situ, make sure it's all clean before I take it apart, refit the head, and then I'm going to see if the thing will run.
So that's our Lansing Bagnall industrial truck. If you like what you see and you don't want to keep up with what we do with it, then please like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll be happy to show you more. So I'll catch you on the next one. Take care and bye for now.